guys, what's up? Starting off our new channel today, JRSVlog. 5,000 days ago, I kicked off the JRSVlog channel. It's been 5,000 days of daily videos that are not uploaded on a daily schedule, but they are filmed on a daily schedule. And when I have time, I upload them. And I thank you for the last few months of your patience in my uploads. Right now, it is not day 5,000. We're a little bit past day 5,000, but I couldn't publish the normal day 5,000 without some sort of a little conversation and a recap. So in normal style, I'll get up and pace and walk around in the dark, and you can listen to me dribble. I just watched the first video that I did in 2010, and what a completely different world ago that was. I mean, holy crap, we live in California now. I own and operate a business. I work a lot. I travel a lot. I'm in a beautiful relationship with a beautiful girl, and things are pretty good. I'm pretty happy out here. It's not perfect, but we're working on it. 5,000 days is a lot of days for things to change though. So, God, I was in high school. I was wearing Oakleys. Oh, don't we all have those pictures and videos we look back at 20 years ago and think, what was I thinking? And that's one of those for me. But since then, not to go pat myself on the back, but just think about all the stuff that I filmed. I mean, probably 25 trips to California before I lived here, maybe more. I finished high school, I finished college, I bought a car, I sold a car, I bought another car, I moved here. I built this business, not alone, but I had something to do with it, I think. We went to Europe, we went to Hawaii, we went to the Caribbean 3 times. Actually, Hawaii was 3 times too, soon to be 4. We've gone back to Ohio to visit. I've made new friends. I haven't lost many friends in these last 13.69 years. Thank you, Apple Watch, for that calculation. But things are just really, really, really different. Here's something that stayed the same. It looks a lot better now than it did then. It drives a lot better. It's much better equipped to last into the future, as I've designed it to be and worked very hard to make it over the last decade and a half nearly. But it's been here through this entire ride, which kind of puts it in perspective. A, how old this damn car is. B, how long I've had it. The first set of vlogs, and many of you may not know this, were started, I think it was the previous December of 2009. And I ran for not quite a year. It was a couple hundred days. And there was some drama. There was some bullshit. There was a small arrest. And then those vlogs ended and that channel ended, and I had some downtime, and ultimately I missed it. I liked, at that time, really liked creating content and publishing content and reading comments and talking with people and meeting people on the internet. I've met a lot of my friends that way. Part of the reason is because I got this car. I had no idea what to do with it. I couldn't afford to have anybody service it. I had to learn how to do it myself. So I kind of went to YouTube, and just like I'd look up, how do you remove the hard drive from a ThinkPad T440S? I would search 2000 BMW M5 oil change, and I was appalled at the lack of results that I found. And I'm thinking, you know, if I'm looking for this content, and if I would benefit from this content, it's likely that somebody else would too. And it was an old friend of mine who unfortunately isn't in the picture anymore. I remember this day vividly. Now we're talking about E39 source. We're off topic. Welcome to the vlog. I'm at Kent State in 2000, and it had to be early, had to be like 12. And we're talking about how I don't really make tech videos anymore, but I miss making content at a slightly more professional level. And he's telling me, like, why don't you make a car channel? I'm like, what the hell do I know about working on cars? I like cars. I can identify cars pretty well. I have a good memory for specs and figures and numbers, but I don't know how to go make DIY videos about cars. And he kind of talked me into it. And E39 Source was born. And why did we call it that? Here's a story I almost never share. Super into watches then, super into watches now, but I followed a guy on YouTube called Breitling Source, and he reviewed new watches. And I'm thinking, like, okay, so he's the source for watches. I want to focus on the E39. What do we call that? E39 Source. So thank you, Breitling Source, for your naming inspiration. Quick minute on the future. So for the last couple years, I've watched my free time go from almost all of it to pretty much none of it. I'm logging 90-ish hours a week here. I start my day at 5 a.m. and I close things up somewhere around midnight. I am on call 24/7 through phone, text, and email. I get hundreds of emails per week, if not thousands, dozens of phone calls per day and increasing. And this has completely consumed my life and free time, unfortunately, which is why we're not seeing the more frequent E39 source content that I do long to produce still, and B, timely updates to this vlog channel. So in the back of my head, a couple of months ago, I thought, I can't just give the vlog up right now. I've got to pick a nice round number. 5,000. And I kind of decided I'll get to 5,000. We'll reevaluate how I feel and we'll go from there. 5,000 came and went, and I did not even acknowledge the day, to be truthful with you. I filmed a video that day. We were looking up inside. I think I already edited the video, but it was the Sepang 08060 M5. Got some major engine problems with that car, as you'll see in these following clips. But that came and went, and then as I edited that, I was like, crap, I missed 5,000. Well, I'm not going to stop at 5,000 at 17. So I don't know. I'm not making promises or commitments. I do enjoy this. I think it's really cool to look back at. I like the occasional comments that roll in. Sometimes they're productive with feedback. Otherwise, they're some form of verification or justification to me and what I'm doing, which everybody occasionally needs. And other times it's just nice to sit down and talk it out and explain it. And that really helps me understand stuff better. If you can teach something, it demonstrates to me that you've mastered the understanding of it. And that's why I like making DIY videos. Not that I've mastered anything, but it does help me learn more about it and learn how to eloquently put it into words. So long story short, these things are numbered. I can't do this forever. I'm not going to be retiring on day 74,000 or whatever that would be. But they don't stop now and they don't stop tomorrow. So I think we'll keep running with it for a bit and see where things go in the future. I keep thinking I'm going to get to a point where the second technician, maybe it's the third technician, maybe it's going to be an office manager or a service writer that we bring on board here. There will be a time when I can say, oh, it's 5. I could probably go home now. Right now it's 8:10. I've got like 3 more hours of work to do today. So that day is not here yet. If that day comes sooner, maybe these will last longer because I'll have more time and renewed motivation. In the meantime, it is a chore, in a sense, to every day have the discipline to film, which I do not do a good job of anymore. I readily acknowledge that. And then import and edit and export and upload and come up with a title and change thumbnails and support comments and hundreds of additional emails and essentially homework. But I do still enjoy it. So welcome to 5,000. Thanks for sticking around. I do appreciate it. Leave me some comments below. How long have you been here? Do you watch once a week, once a month, once a year, every day? Is there anybody left? I said this at day 500, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Is there anybody that's watched 5,000 freaking videos from me standing and talking about cars? Are there any of you? I owe you a martini and a sirloin if you come to San Diego. So please do that. I'll do better than that. Let's make it a ribeye and a martini. Wow. Thanks for sticking around. Enjoy today's video, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. It's Friday night. I'm wearing real clothes, a real watch. I'm not covered in bug spray or grease or power steering fluid, and it feels very good. This was a good week. It was a really short week. It feels like it should be about Tuesday night, and it isn't. But that's the way the last 100 or so have gone. So Martin started on Wednesday. He brings a lot of dealership and other shop experience. He's a little older than we are, so he brings experience, and he's done this before. He's done this for a long time, and he was able to kind of hit the ground running. So with other hires that I've made, it takes a few weeks where I have to show how to use some tools and explain some principle behind automotive service. This hasn't been the case with him. Day 1 was an alternator and a thermostat, and day 2, rod bearings on an S85. So that job carried into today. He had the subframe off today, pulled out the lower oil pan and the caps off, and then pulled out the bearings. So cylinders 3, 4, 5, 7, and 9 all have an extremely high amount of exposed copper, heat damage, and cylinder number 7 has crankshaft journal damage, which is not ideal. So on Monday, we're going to attempt to polish that and smooth that out a bit, and then get a reading with some plastic gauge on our tolerance. And my guess is it will be out of spec. I've been in this situation before, Nate, And unfortunately, what we found was kind of a bad tolerance result. So we'll get in there Monday, we'll figure it out, and we'll come up with a service plan for the customer. In the meantime, Alan's on Kennan's car. We're making great progress. Whole rear suspension, axles, H-arms, integral links, ball joints, all of that's done. Today, the front right shock came out, her strut and spring assembly. The spring was on incorrectly, which caused the lower spring pad to wear a hole in it. So when the spring was touching the lower mount on these Coney yellows. So my goal was to deliver the car ideally today. That couldn't happen. We had him on that all week, and it wouldn't have been possible to get through that work scope in less time. But Kennan comes back Sunday, so the plan has been Monday. But when we pulled the exhaust off, there's a lot of incorrect or missing hardware. And he's got an issue right now where with the correct hardware setup, his center exhaust brace is touching the exhaust, which means over bumps, it's gonna send a freaking fist into your ass, which not many people like. So we've got to figure out how to correct that. And it's a completely factory, uncut, unmodified exhaust system. So with everything assembled right, the fact that it doesn't fit leads me to believe there's something bent between the cats and say the resonator that's just allowing that exhaust to kind of sag down where the center support is. So we're gonna have to get some safety stands in there and bend it back up, or stack a bunch of washers and rubber crap in there to space down the center exhaust brace again, which kind of removes the effectiveness of the chassis braces that are supposed to connect the subframe to the center of the chassis. When you lower it down, it changes the geometry. So we've got a bit more homework to do there on Monday. We've got some sunroof glass adjustment to do, a couple little things, and then we're in good shape. But crazy, crazy, crazy busy day today. Dropping cars off at sublets, picking stuff up, alignments. Got the M5 cleaned up, which had only been 2 weeks. I took it down to Bimmers on the Bay 2 weekends ago. It was spotless then. Since then, I've done a little bit of driving for the emissions and OBD requirements. That's done. But just one half wipe of the windshield turned my towel totally black. It was nasty. So I went over the whole car today. It's all nice and clean now. So home for a weekend. My arm hurts, my legs, my back, my knees hurt. What else was new? We're going to bed. We got cars and coffee tomorrow. I've got to go back to UTC Mall to pick up my suit, which should be done. I'll try it on one more time, but I think we're going to be okay. And then rest of the weekend, normal stuff. So talk tomorrow. Night.